Hello everyone, I welcome you all back to my channel. Today we will talk about some more aspects related to religion as we are doing from the last 3 videos. In those videos we have covered 3 articles of right to freedom of religion, that is Article 25, Article 26 and Article 27. Today we will discuss the last article of right to freedom of religion, that is Article 28. Things that we will understand today through Article 28 is that number 1, the prayers that are held in school assemblies. I am talking about the religious prayers. Are they constitutionally correct or not? And second, in school books, the religious teachings given and taught, are they constitutionally correct or not? So basically, Article 28 talks about freedom from attending religious instructions in educational institutions, that is schools and colleges. Freedom from attending religious instructions means you will have the choice and liberty whether you take any religious instruction and education or not. So this is the basic introduction of Article 28. Now let us understand to what extent Article 28 prohibits educational institutions to give religious instructions and education. Article 28 contains 3 clauses. In these 3 clauses, 4 different types of educational institutions are talked about. Number 1, educational institution wholly maintained out of state fund. Number 2, educational institutions administered by state but established under any endowment or trust. Number 3, educational institutions recognized by the state. And number 4, educational institutions receiving aid out of state fund. Let us see to what extent these educational institutions have been empowered to give religious instructions. So Article 28 Clause 1 talks about first type of educational institution. It says, no religious instruction shall be provided in any educational institution wholly maintained out of state fund. This means that all those educational institutions which are fully funded by the state, that is where all the money is invested by the state, in such institutions no religious instructions will be given. There will be no religious prayer or religious teachings of any kind in such institutions like government schools, government colleges, etc. These are fully funded by the government. The money that the state is investing in these institutions, where are they coming from? They are coming from the public tax, and we know that public tax cannot be used to promote any particular religion. Now let's come to the second clause of Article 28. It says, nothing in clause 1 shall apply to an educational institution which is administered by state but has been established under any endowment or trust which requires that religious instruction shall be imparted in such institution. Imparted means you can pass the information or knowledge. Now let's understand this with an example. As we understood in the previous video that people donate in temples, mosques, churches and other religious places. There are also some people who donate their land and property to these religious trusts. What happens is that the trust uses these money and property in different ways, like they open hospitals, orphanages, old age homes, educational institutions, etc. In these institutions, the money is invested by the trust or endowment, but all these institutions are administered and controlled by the state, like in decision making and all. Even though these institutions are administered by the state, but the fund is ultimately given by the trust and endowments. Therefore, religious instructions and education can be given in such institutions. For example, madrasa, Christian missionaries, monasteries, etc. Such institutions are funded by trust and endowments, so they are allowed to give religious instructions and education. Now coming to the third clause of Article 28. As I mentioned, the third clause talks about the last 2 categories of educational institution. educational institutions recognized by the state, and educational institutions receiving aid out of state fund. Now first let us read what is written in this clause about these two categories of educational institutions. It says that no person attending any educational institution recognized by the state or receiving aid out of state funds shall be required to take part in any religious instruction that may be imparted in such institution, or to attend any religious worship that may be conducted in such institution or in any premises attached thereto, unless such person, or if such person is minor, his guardian has given his consent thereto. Before understanding this statement, let us understand the difference between these two categories of educational institutions. Institutions recognized by the state means, for running an educational institution, it is mandatory to get it recognized from an approved government board or commission. Otherwise, the degree or certificate acquired through non-recognized institution has no value applying for higher studies or job. So such recognition to educational institutions are given by concerned authorities like CBSE, UGC, AICTE, etc. So state has given only the recognition to these institutions, not funds or any kind of help. Second category is institutions receiving aid out of state fund. Receiving aid out of state fund means the educational institution is not fully funded by the state but partially funded. That is, they get not all but some financial support. But it doesn't mean that the institutions are owned and controlled by the state. Such institutions have their own management and administration. They are usually called private or semi-government. We have understood the difference between these two. Now understand what the statement says. According to the statement given in this clause, it says that religious instructions can be given in both the types of educational institution, but only and only with your consent. And if you are minor, then consent of your parents is required. Suppose there is Christian missionary where a Hindu or a Muslim child is studying. Then religious instruction will be given to him only when his consent is there, and if he is minor, then his parents' consent is there. So this was Article 28, in which 4 different types of educational institutions and the rules and regulations of religious instructions to be given have been talked about. So with this, Article 28, our 4th fundamental right, ends here, which is right to freedom of religion. In the next video, we will start our 5th fundamental right, that is cultural and educational right.